Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Welcome, everyone, to the Massenomics Podcast, the world's strongest podcast. Your two favorite Massenomics hosts are here again, Tommy and Tanner.
What's happening?
Quick question.
Well, you forgot to say number 146.
Number
I don't
146.
want anyone to get confused what number they're listening to.
We're creeping up on 156. We're 10 out right now. You know what 156
we might as well
is?
say 300, though,
Yeah.
because you just shoot high. with
That's
these
true.
things.
But 156 will be 3 years.
Oh, it is.
I don't know if that'll be our 3. When did we start? Wasn't it like the beginning of April?
It
that
was.
we
It
started?
was April-ish.
So that would be about 10 weeks from now, and what would that put us at? That would be about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting.
See, in my head, when I say like, oh, we only got to do 10 episodes, it's like that's not far away at
Yeah,
all.
that's
But
2.5
10
months.
episodes, yeah, it's 2.5 months. Like once you say that, it sounds completely different.
Yeah. It's a grind. It's a marathon, not a sprint, this podcast game.
It is. And you know what? We will hang in till the very end.
If anyone can grind when it comes to a podcast, we can grind.
There's one thing we can do. It's grind.
Yeah. I still think our strongest attribute when it comes to being a podcast is that we can just outlast the other podcasts. They will quit.
I would say that's our strongest attribute with anything.
Most of the ones with our range of subscriber listening downloads will quit before we will.
Oh yeah.
They'll pack it in.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, this thankless job just it will drive you to the brink of insanity. But
I know back at the beginning we talked about the statistics of even just like the number of podcasts that make it past 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's like
or something.
10 or 20. It's something like that.
Yeah, it's like 10% make it to past like 10 episodes, or it's a ridiculous number. What do you think are the percent that make it to like 3 years of having a weekly?
It's got to be. I don't know many. Like when I think of the podcasts that I listen to regularly, hardly any of them are at 100 episodes even.
Right. And I bet within the last few years, the huge influx of new podcasts, I bet that number has got even way more out of whack because of all the people that start and quit.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think I mean, we kind of are pioneers of the podcasting genre. Like
That's
we're just
true.
so far ahead of the game that
I do think we got ahead of the biggest bubble.
I think
Don't you think? Like,
it seems like
we're at least on the front end of the big bubble.
Yeah.
Had we started like a year earlier, I think we really would have been in at a pretty good time.
Because now, even though we suck, we can just be like, well, but we've been doing it so long. Like we're not doing it. It's not a fad thing. Like we just. It's like I have long hair. I had long hair before people had long hair. You just catch it. You just catch it before everyone else does, and you can be like, well. I mean, my version of it might not be any good, but I was doing it first.
Yeah, so no matter how much better other people's podcasts are, we can a lot of times say, hey,
we had
did
more
it before
episodes
you.
than you. Yeah, we did it before it was cool.
I remember my first podcast.
We're like podcast hipsters over here.
Yeah. What I did want to ask you, and I think I've asked you about this one time before. Maybe I haven't, and maybe it wasn't you, and maybe you don't know what I'm going to talk about even, but are you familiar at all with the Wendy's? We've talked about Wendy's on this podcast before, but are you familiar at all with the Wendy's Super Bar?
God, did we talk about this? I don't know if we did.
Okay, did you ever have the Wendy's Super Bar?
Is it how it used to be?
Yeah,
back in
the old Wendy's.
I've heard people reminisce about it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, because I heard someone else talking about it. I think on a podcast like last week or something, and I was like, yeah, the Wendy's Super Bar. Wendy's used to have.
We're talking the Wendy's fast food restaurant here.
Used to have a buffet in the restaurant, and it was had spaghetti. I think it had some tacos.
Really?
And it had like salad bar and a little bit of everything, and it was pretty good.
So they were just really like, let's just find something that works. Like maybe.
Well, let's do nothing very well and do everything a little half-assed.
Wow. Yeah.
So you never had that?
No, I never had. I just heard people say like, oh, there was like this like buffet type bar where you could get stuff, but I didn't realize it was like spaghetti and tacos. I just assumed it was like
it wasn't
different.
burgers really. Maybe there was burgers on it. I don't think there was. Even
in my mind, I just thought like it had a salad bar and some chili and baked potatoes. Like
no, it was the super bar.
Wow. And you remember eating it?
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember going there as a kid. I suppose you didn't have a Wendy's in Millbank.
No.
So yeah.
My where I grew up, my fast food.
Dairy Queen.
No, I didn't even have one of those.
Subway.
We had Subway, Taco John's, and Hardee's.
Yeah. Oh,
Pizza
Hardee's.
Hut too. Pizza Hut.
Oh yeah.
But
Is there still a Pizza Hut there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. This is one thing I was thinking about, how the times have changed regarding fast food. Do you remember back in the day? Like, do you ever eat Hardee's ever?
Every once in a while.
They had for this goes. I mean, this had to have been when I was like, this probably was close to 20 years ago. They had on their menu the $6 burger.
I remember that.
Like it was like that
Yeah,
was
I
like a
remember
sign
that.
of class.
Yeah.
It was a $6 burger, which now that sounds so crazy because that's what a fast food burger costs,
Yeah.
unless it's the dollar menu.
From McDonald's.
And unless it's happy hour or some crazy deal, no restaurant is serving a burger for $6.
No.
I guess if you want just the burger, you might be able to get it, but like when you go to a restaurant and order a burger, I just assume it's going to be between like $9 and $15 now.
Right. We have mentioned this before. I brought it up that Hardee's also sold hot dogs.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
That just blows my mind because I don't think where I lived that existed. I don't think it did.
Yeah.
Unless
And
my parents just
was
protected me from that.
really little when it's like a really old. I have to dig deep in the back of my memory bank to remember that, but I can
Just old
remember
hot dogs.
It's about in there with the super bar, like the same time frame. I remember going to I think our family must have liked the super bar because I remember going to that pretty regularly. Also Bonanza. I don't know if that was a nationwide chain, but we used to have a Bonanza, which is a big buffet.
Really?
In town.
Yeah.
I think that is at least
It could
a
be. I mean,
chain
the name
too.
sounds familiar,
Yeah.
but it's also one of those names that's just kind of ambiguous. Like it could be anything.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be a strip club or a restaurant or.
One other Wendy's thing, as long as I'm thinking of it now. Do you know about the lady that found a finger in her chili at Wendy's?
Oh, that was just like in the last couple of years, wasn't it?
I don't know how many years ago. It was within the last 10, I would say.
I do remember
Yeah.
hearing about this. I don't know the details of it though.
I think it was in California or some. I guess the state's not really that pertinent, but she said she found a finger in her chili at Wendy's, and there was a finger in her chili, and she said she bit into it, and that she like threw up in the restaurant.
Yeah.
So she sued Wendy's. I don't know how much she sued for, a lot, and it was a huge deal, and it Wendy's lost quite a bit of business about it, but they started to dig into this woman that had this claim, and they started to see she had sued multiple nationwide corporations over some different things, and her and her husband kind of had a checkered past with some weird legal issues, and the big thing is she had sued multiple other large corporations like that.
Yep.
And Wendy's ended up hiring private investigators, lawyered up big
Which
time.
you would want
and
to
started
get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, it started to dig into her, and she had gone on national television, like Good Morning America and everything. Like it was the lady that found a finger in her chili at Wendy's, and she's getting a lot of publicity about it. And Wendy's went like completely up the supply chain to find out that the way you find out is like, who the hell is missing a finger?
Who reported an accident and losing a
Right,
finger?
right,
It seems
right.
like that should be a really easy thing to find.
Right, and they could not find anything. There was nothing from like the people that supplied the beef or all the way.
I mean, we're talking like losing a finger. You think someone would care
Yes.
about that?
Yes, and they couldn't find anything. They opened up a tip line where if someone gave them the answer of whose finger this was, they could get $100,000. And that tip line did actually lead to some answers. And her husband worked construction, and one of the guys that he worked with owed him some money, like a small amount of money, like $50, $100, something like that.
Yeah.
And work construction, there was an accident. He got it in a tailgate of a pickup smashed, and it cut his finger off. And this lady's husband told the guy, I don't know if they had the specific plan in time, the specific plan in mind at the time that it happened, but he basically told the guy, "Give me that finger, and you don't have to pay me back that $100." So she took the finger then and put it in the chili, and they found this out, and I think she faced some really huge penalties because Wendy's lost a lot of money over
I'm
the.
sure it cost them millions of dollars in like bad press, easily.
Yeah, probably they can really never.
And then hiring people to just how many man hours went into trying to figure this out?
They banned her from Wendy's for life after that too.
She should be.
Yeah.
Do you think when they hired like the private investigators, they're like, "There's something fishy going here, but I can't quite put my finger on it."
All the finger puns.
They just kept doing it over and over.
Like a new detective would walk in and be like, "Huh, there is something. I just can't quite point out what it is." Like they're all just finger puns.
Yeah, I could see it being a South Park.
Episode.
Sure, just keep that going.
So if you ever, and then I did. There is like Arby's and several other places have actually had fingers in their food before. Yeah.
I mean, it's believable.
Yeah.
People lose fingers.
Yeah. As long as we're on I like to talk about the fast food thing and stuff like that. We had our annual Massenomics gym members party.
This is actually like almost like a life hack. Right here. I thought
this is a good piece of information.
I thought you were, but when you first told me this, just to get people excited here, I thought you were lying to me. I thought you were making this up. I didn't think this was real.
Yeah. So we had our party. This was the third year. Just like
maybe before we get there though, we never cleared up how we actually feel about Wendy's though.
That's true. Does the finger?
I mean, we kind of just made it sound like Wendy's was kind of bad.
Oh, I like Wendy's.
I think Wendy's is one of my favorite fast food places.
Yeah, hashtag bring back the super bar, if you ask me.
I think you're going to say hashtag bring back the finger.
No, if they would bring back the super bar, I would, like nostalgia alone, I would go at least once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'd have to go see what this is about.
And I can picture even in our Wendy's where like how that was laid out and stuff there. Before they remodeled and got rid of the super bar.
Simpler times.
It obviously wasn't a lucrative.
It wasn't. No. Okay. But back to the old cliffhanger here.
Yeah.
This whole where this really got me interested, as you said. Okay, every year at the Massenomics gym, we do a Christmas party, holiday party, just a reason to get everyone that goes to the gym together, eat a bunch of food, drink, and have a good time.
Talk about the gym.
Talk about the gym. Talk about the same things we talk about in the gym, but in a different setting. That's mainly what it is.
This year we had a TV set up, and it was just replaying all our footage from our prior meets.
Yeah,
and
so we just had a
stuff.
party where we basically just watched all of our old meets, all of our old strongman and Highland games, and
forced all of our girlfriends and wives to.
They just had to be like, they do. This is like really these guys like this is what. They just can't get enough of it. But and then on top of that, normally we go to like an exotic location. When I say an exotic location, anywhere that's not the gym. This year we went above the gym. So
the same door we walk in only.
I mean, we literally, instead of going down
the stairs,
10 stairs, we went up 5 stairs, and that's where the party was this year. It was great place to have it though.
It was.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a good spot. We've had 3 years in 3 different spots, all good spots. All kind of interesting.
We're pretty.
places.
I mean, the bar has really been set high. Like, I'm going to be disappointed for the year that it's not at a good spot.
Yeah, right. It was a good party. Every year's been a good party, but so the food this year. The prior years we've had
it kind of like everyone kind of brings
sandwiches
something
and stuff like that. Yeah,
pulled pork, all that type of stuff, like your normal like big get together foods. I would say.
Yep.
And this year Tanner's like, "Oh, I'm going to get it catered," and I said, "Oh, who's going to cater it?" And I, in my head, thinking like, I don't know, one of the restaurants in town or something, or a grocery store. Yeah. And he says, "No, Arby's is going to cater it." And I said, "What?" And then you go, "Yeah, Arby's caters." And I was blown away.
Yeah. So what we got was, they sell their roast beef by the pound. So you go, it's already sliced and everything, and it's cold. And you pick it up, and all you have to really do is put it in a roaster, and I think you add like a little water to the roaster and turn it on, and it's ready to serve. So we bought 16 pounds of Arby's roast beef, which is a lot. Like when you see that all
that's
in
a lot.
one
I mean,
place.
16 pounds of meat is a lot of meat.
Yeah, and that's like finished.
Yeah. Well, you're not talking like bones. We're not talking fat.
Yeah.
We're not talking all that.
It's slices of
I mean,
Arby's
this
roast
is
beef.
edible meat.
Yeah, and so that's what we did. And I knew about it because I went to a party one time, and there was roast beef sandwiches like that, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is great! Where did this roast beef come from?" And they're like, same exact situation. I was like, "What do you mean Arby's?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get it from Arby's?" And I was a believer, and that was probably 5 years ago, and I've always kept that
in
the back of my mind. And I was like, "Oh, this is the opportunity to pull that nugget out."
And I don't think that's common knowledge.
I don't think so,
I've never heard of
probably.
anyone
Yeah.
saying that before.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
If I had to be completely critical, it would have been like, oh, Arby's could have got some sauces mixed in there
Yeah.
too, and maybe you just have to ask for
Yeah,
it. And I'm sure they do.
Probably.
But that is an easy thing to like. Oh, 16 pounds of meat. Like it's a really easy thing to be like, oh, the rest of
Yeah.
it. But no, I mean, it's Arby's meat. They got it figured out. It's tasty.
Yeah.
You bring the buns and it's a party now.
That's right.
What's the so what did the price end up being roughly per pound then for Arby's?
I think
meat?
it's $7.50.
That's not bad for roast beef.
No.
Like people, it's fast food roast beef. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. It's
Right.
not like you're not going to your local butcher or grocery
Right.
store and they're not sitting
Getting
there
primo.
getting
yeah.
the nice meat and slicing it by hand and like bringing it over. Like, yeah, it's not that, but
Right.
also you're not paying $12 a pound for it or whatever it would be
Yeah.
in that setting.
And in comparison, in previous years, we've had, 10, 20 pounds of pork or something like that. But that's like a lot of, I didn't do it, but between my wife and other people, it's a lot of work to get like,
Oh, yeah, it is.
to like prepare that,
Yep.
so it's a pretty big time saver. So it's considerably, I think worth it.
Yeah. Should we also let them in on kind of the other second favorite or maybe the
Oh,
favorite
yes.
return?
Yes.
So, okay, this is if you ever want to impress people at a cookout, this is, from what I can tell, it's never disappointed. It's
No.
never failed to. It's
No,
just
everyone
always
loves it.
People love this every time, and it is a mac and cheese recipe. And
It's the secret Ryan
it
DeFay recipe.
is. I mean, Ryan makes it every year. I've made it myself once. It's not hard to do, and I'll just say, let me see if I can track it down here quick.
What do you call it?
Okay, so this is how you find it. Just go to Google and type in Vice mac and cheese, or you can do Vice Cheeto mac and cheese. And the reason for Vice is it was the Vice network. They have a cooking show on there with Maddie Matheson, and he cooks this Cheeto mac and cheese. And basically, why it's so good, and I don't know. He says macaroni. I don't even know how you say it. Is it like capitava or captavi? Whatever those spinny noodles are. I'm an idiot with these things.
I don't
but,
know.
You get the little spirally noodles, and pretty much what you do is you buy a block of American cheese, and you get a big pot, and you fill that pot up with milk, and you just put in pretty much a slice of American cheese at a time, and it just keeps melting down, and you just keep stirring and keep putting cheese in. And after long enough, you pretty much have a pot of just solid melted cheese. And then you dump that all over these noodles in, kind of like your big
Pan.
yeah, like your big pan. You just get the like catering style ones, so you have to clean it up. And then you bake it in the oven for a little bit. And then when it's almost done, you take Cheetos, and you can just you can either break them up in a bag or just put them through a food processor quick just to crunch them up. And then you sprinkle the Cheetos across the top of the mac and cheese, and then you bake it again for like a few more minutes just to get everything crispy. And this thing, like, it gets people going. You might think you've had cheesy mac and cheese, but this is the cheesiest.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of almost ruins mac and cheese after this.
It's really good, and it's always gone.
It is.
When I do the cleanup of the,
it's never like makes it to the end.
No.
Yeah, because it always gets taken out.
Yeah.
But it takes a little time to melt down all that cheese. But it does not disappoint.
No.
People love it.
cooking with Massenomics, catered roast beef and American singles macaroni and cheese.
What more could you want in a meal right there, right? Just doesn't get much better than that.
Nope.
But after the party, though, I mean, it was a good party like always.
It was.
Anytime you get the guys together, drink a lot of beer, and watch old Massenomics videos.
I loved it. It's like my favorite kind of
you know,
night,
like how
you know?
far things are coming when you watch like the video of pretty much all of us in our first meet, and it's like, God, we were terrible at attempt selection.
Yeah.
Like so many second attempts were third attempts. So many third attempts were almost first attempts.
Yeah.
So you get better.
It is fun to watch that. Though,
It
when
is,
it's
and
been
I guess does say something that it might look bad if you watch your first meet ever. It's like, oh man, I wish it was those days again.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
So to like see that there has been some growth means something.
And all the strongman showdowns went through, and like seeing the crowd. You know, at the time of the first one, we thought there was a big crowd there, and just like
I don't know, was there 100 people maybe?
I don't know for sure how many it was.
And yeah,
I
at
mean,
the time that seemed mind blowing.
Yeah.
And yeah, now hundreds of people is just totally expected.
Yeah.
You know, if the crowd isn't bigger than World's Strongest Man, I'm feeling insulted by this thing.
I don't know if that even takes very much, but
no, it just like 8 of your closest friends have to show up and have them bring one person, and you're pretty much there.
Yeah. What about we kind of started a chain reaction of a specific type of meme this week. The hashtag Herbstrong memes.
Yeah.
I think we put out 3 pretty fire Herbstrong memes.
I thought they were decent.
Yeah.
We don't want to toot our own horn over here, but
and they got received with really good reactions from a lot of people. So I was happy to see that a lot of people are looking at the situation from through the same lens that we are,
through objective eyes. Just
Yeah,
like us.
yeah. So why do you think what is Herbstrong doing? What are they giving these lifters in order to get them to make these posts?
Well,
what are they giving?
So we had mentioned the Herbstrong thing is so interesting in the way that like I just one day was like seeing like just pretty big power lifters that typically have kind of the like no nonsense hardcore approach.
Yeah.
If I could like put that in air quotes, so real or otherwise. And then all of a sudden they're like talking about like this magic recovery thing. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird because like normally a lot of these guys are like, no,
I
that
don't believe in. I
doesn't
don't need
work.
bullshit.
Yeah. And so that was like my first exposure to it. And like I kept seeing it a little more, and then like I'd see random like posts like on the Discover page on Instagram would pop up, and it just kind of seemed to like be, and it wasn't just powerlifters. I would see like strongman, I would see like almost like more Instagram, like what I would describe as like model type people too, fitness personalities.
Yep.
It seemed to kind of cover the whole strength and fitness gym industry, and the joke was with us was that it's like, oh, it seemed like everyone was acting like this was the magic cure-all for everything.
Right.
And then
It's a magic pill.
it's like, oh, we should make a few memes about this. And what blew me away is when I clicked on their Instagram page, I'd never done that before, is from what I can tell, they have like 1,000+ affiliates. That's all it is. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
Yeah.
And,
do you think they're paying them in cash then?
Well, and
or
that's
like,
what I can't figure out because it's not like, I mean, I didn't look through every one of them. I just clicked through a few, but from what I could tell, it wasn't like people with 100 followers. Like most of them had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of followers.
Right.
So I don't know. There's something going on. I don't know if they're getting, if some of the bigger people of Herbstrong is actually just giving them money to like, hey, do this, which would make total sense, or if they just have a really good affiliate deal, like. If people use your code, you're getting 50% back because their product is like between $60 and $100 and some dollars, depending on which one you're buying.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap product by any means. So I would imagine there's some markup built in there.
Right.
So I don't know the behind the scenes of it.
Huh. There was some comments on our posts. Someone was making the comment how someone wondered if Herbstrong actually was like if we actually
if they
had
were using
partnered
us as viral marketing.
Right. And someone commented, they're like, well, companies do pay people to make memes about their stuff, and the guy goes, I don't think Massenomics would be doing that.
I mean, it would. We've actually joked about it before that the only way we could ever have a supplement deal is if it was basically in that manner, where we were like bringing attention to it for almost the wrong reasons, but it was so ridiculous that people were like, and then the company the company would have to have the mentality that, well, any attention is good attention.
Right. Because we're not going to go out there and be like,
we're not going to be like everyone else because this is the formula. Oh, company X is sponsoring me for supplements now. Well, now I'm going to keep doing the same thing I've always done, except take a picture after my workout with my supplement bottle and tell them how it's the best thing ever. It's like nothing changed there. Like, that's just the most blah form of marketing. And like, I don't know. I guess it sells, and that's why people do it. But man, it seems super low effort.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
So if someone wants to take a chance on a company, really twist up your supplement marketing. Oh man,
there might be some borderline stuff where you'll say, "Are these guys helping me or hurting me?"
And then just come back at us, and we can just spin that too.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
We have the perfect spin machine over here.
We're just waiting for that right supplement company that's going to be a perfect fit with us.
The thing is most supplement companies I don't think like to joke around because that would kind of actually just they'd be admitting that their product for the most part is just garbage anyways. They'd be caught in their own lies.
Right.
And I don't think people like the idea of like me taking something and putting it in my body and maybe it not being completely serious.
Right. That's true.
Bro Science Life is probably like the closest that ever gets to like
where it's like NAR pump.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of ridiculous.
But he seems to be making it work, I think, so he might be onto something there.
He makes everything he does work.
He does, yeah.
Somehow.
Some people just got the skills.
Yeah. So that's Herbstrong.
But yeah,
we're still waiting for our affiliate code, right?
Yeah, check out hashtag
Herbstrong memes.
And Herbstrong did say they'll get us an affiliate code. Have not followed through with that yet.
Yeah, they did comment on there and said that very thing, and we're waiting. So waiting on you, Herbstrong. Mm-hmm. Ball's in your court.
When I was on their website, my favorite thing was they do have vape pens, CBD vape pens, and the picture of the vape pen is like an actual cyclist with a vape pen in, because it's like, oh yeah, out of all the sports you could do, you clearly, when you're like cycling. Want to be like sucking down a vape. Like,
that sounds terrible. Like, was he on a bicycle?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just I got to see this.
There's no way people do that.
I mean, you wouldn't think competitively. I could see some guy just cruising through town on his bike, sucking on a vape. But
maybe it's sport in itself, though, cycling while vaping.
It could be.
Yeah, all their images are. So, Herbstrong is CBD oil that's marketed almost exclusively to the fitness community. Is that right? Or
from
not?
What I can tell, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Where's that?
For the record, I have absolutely no idea what CBD oil is, other than like
right
what
here.
you said on there.
Like he's in his
his helmet,
his cycling gear with his helmet, and sunglasses, and his Fitbit on, and
sucking down his
vape pen. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what the kids are up to these days, and apparently I just don't get it.
Yeah. I guess this is probably the best time to shout out our sponsor of this episode, Herbstrong.
Use the affiliate code Herbstrong memes. Yeah, they do have 67,000 followers, and this is the best part: is that the account is just
all pictures of their
of people mostly not wearing clothes, smiling, holding an Herbstrong.
Yeah,
like you don't see anyone actually using a vape pen or really even applying lotion. It's just
all really jacked dudes
and like naked women just holding their stuff and kind of either staring at it really lovingly or like off in the distance.
A lot of dudes in their underwear and.
Yeah. It's a really interesting account.
Yeah, so that's Herbstrong.
Okay, we've given them enough. Yeah. We've given them enough advertising.
Enough about Herbstrong already.
After all the after all the traffic we've drove their way, I'm sure their sales this quarter to start 2019 are going really good.
I bet that they've cornered us as the spike. How about this project that you were working on?
So, there is this thing called IPF points.
Okay.
And it is like the most confusing thing ever in that I don't think it actually makes sense to many people. We talked about this a while back, and if you want to read articles on it, just Google it, and there's so many things out there. But basically, quick story. For whatever reason, political or otherwise, the IPF decided to get away from the Wilks formula. And, okay, got people excited because the Wilks formula does have some things wrong with it. It wasn't quite made to cover the growth of powerlifting and probably even all the different classes between raw, single ply, multiply, all that stuff. Like it's not a perfect formula.
Right.
And people will pretty much accept that. So then the IPF says, okay, we're going to have our new formula. And this gets people excited. Like, do they have some crazy physicists and mathematicians working on this thing behind the scenes that we don't know about? I think most people assume they probably don't. They're probably just winging it here. They finally came out with the formula, and I think most people are like, yeah, they kind of did just wing it. But the good folks at Open Powerlifting were quick on the horn on this one and developed the IPF points calculator. I think they were the first ones to have anything on it.
Is this really kind of the calc? There's probably not really other ones out there.
Let's just Google it. IPF points calculator. First one that comes up is theirs. Next one that comes up is a Reddit post regarding theirs. Next one that comes up is their GitLab. Yeah, I mean it's
basically they are the IPF points calculator.
Yeah.
And so is everyone that's in the database now? Are their IPF points listed too?
This is the way I understand it. I think USAPL and I mean, for sure IPF going forward, but I believe USAPL too. I don't know why they'd be any different. Wilks doesn't exist there anymore. It is just IPF points.
Okay.
And you can do some pretty interesting things.
Are those anything like Chuck E. Cheese tokens?
I think it's kind of like that.
What's the ratio
if you do enough,
of,
you can get some free pizza out of it or something.
I wonder what the ratio is to if you convert from Bitcoin to Chuck E. Cheese tokens and then to IPF points.
Yeah, there's definitely some there's some black market stuff going on there if someone dives into that. But if you jump around on Reddit, people have posted all types of charts and graphs and just all types of data and in-depth things on the IPF points formula and how it scales across weight classes. And Open Powerlifting does have a really interesting thing where they talk about, or where they actually just chart out the rankings for full power meets for men by IPF points. And this guy that goes to number one is, okay, so this is where the whole thing comes in, is that if you are like really young, the IPF points formula completely falls apart because right now the best IPF points score of all time is held by a 7-year-old. And he was in the 114-pound weight class. And he weighed... God, is this really right? He weighed 39 pounds? Is that right? I mean, 7 years old?
Yeah, that's possible. Yep.
Yeah. So he weighed 39 pounds.
Possible.
He squatted...
He'd be a small 7-year-old.
He squatted 65, benched 35, deadlifted 65 for a 165-pound total, which gives him 1,190 Wilks points. That puts him above Yuri Belkin, who has 970 Wilks points. So it gives him a good 150 points on Yuri Belkin.
I've got a 7-year-old. I need to get him to get in a meet so I can be like top of the IPF points list.
Yeah, and if you look through the list, like kind of looking out the top 10 through guys, there's Zahir's in there and Tom Martin, Ben Pollock, like Jesse North, like guys that you would kind of expect to see sort of in there. It doesn't favor the like super heavyweight guys very well. They're dropped down a decent amount, but they're still the big names. If you look on the tested side of things, Jesse Norris is number one. Okay, sure. But a lot of the middleweight guys come out kind of on top here with like Taylor Atwood, Brett Gibbs, John Hack, all of those big names, that Christoph Weirbecky. I believe someone said, though, that by this sorting, Ray Williams
is really low, isn't he?
Yeah, like let's see. He is Ray. Wow, where the hell is he?
And wasn't
Ray Williams drops to 159.
And that doesn't.
If you sort by IPF point, he has an IPF score of 766 points. So it seems like doesn't
should
seem
be
right.
160th.
It just doesn't seem right. Like,
wasn't there something you said? I think you said this. In order for Ray to get to the top.
yeah, for Ray
with
to be
those
like in the
guys,
top 10,
he'd have to total like 2,900.
Yeah,
or
you have to
something.
total almost 3,000 for him to
Yeah.
be in the top 10, which isn't possible.
No.
So it's like, well,
That doesn't mean
yeah.
that's
So
not
the
right
thing,
to me.
it doesn't work. And then when I was reading into it too, like, I guess maybe the formula isn't meant to be compared equally across classes either.
Right. Okay.
So like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
if you just compare
maybe in like
supers
the
against
maybe in like the
supers,
183 pound class, a 700 is comparable to a 500 in the.
But isn't that the
heavyweights.
point
But
of being able to find a best lifter of a meet too? Like,
you would think, yeah. So it's just like the whole thing is like falling apart, and I think that they're having things. I thought I read something where, like under a certain age, they don't even want you to run the formula because it doesn't
whack.
work. You're gonna
Yeah.
completely distort the data set. Like it's just gonna make everything fall apart. So, yeah,
But
they released a less than perfect system.
yeah.
Or I
But
think a more
the
flawed system.
calculator that Open Power Lab.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to
Open
that part.
Powerlifting
Yeah, yeah.
have
So yeah,
is perfect.
IPF
Is a
points
perfect system.
calculator. The people at Open Powerlifting did the heavy lifting of the coding and the logic and everything behind that. But yours truly, right here, Mr. Tommy D, had the honor of designing it up.
Yeah.
So
that cool, sweet look that it has. My comment was it was the nicest looking calculator that I've ever seen since the TI 83 Plus with the clear cover.
and
are
I'm
you
not
aware
sure
of
I've
what
ever
that?
seen the clear cover.
Oh yeah, where you can see the insides of the inner workings of the
yes,
TI
yes. Okay,
83
yep,
Plus.
yep, it's coming
graphing
back to me.
calculator. Do you suppose in school they still use the TI 83 Plus
So
graphing
this is
calculator?
okay, I'm far enough out of school. We're both far enough out of school that
Yeah.
like, because when we were in school, and I'm sure you did it, you probably took a math class where you needed a graphing calculator,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was what, $120?
Yeah, I think
Did you
so.
buy your own, or did you have one from the school?
My sister was a few years older than me, and she had one, so
So
I
you
think
got
I just
hers.
had that one.
So I mean, these were. I don't know if this is a thing anymore. Like I'm genuinely curious. But these were, if you don't know what they are, it was like a brick of a calculator. Like
Yeah.
it's not an exaggeration. It's bigger than like the biggest Android phone you can think of. It was bigger than that, and I mean, it had to have been at least a half an inch thick.
Yeah.
Once you put the case, the cover on it, it had to have been like 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yep.
And it had like this shitty little LCD, like one color. It was black. Your color was
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
And it was just a square. What was it? Maybe 3 inches across. A square screen on the top.
Yep.
And you made graphs.
Yeah, you could plot
Graphs
things on
and
X and Y axis, and
You know, like for
different
some reason, the word sine and cosine
Yeah,
come to mind when I
yeah.
think of these things.
trigonometry stuff.
But yeah, I just don't know how those could be a thing anymore. It seems like you could get an app on your phone
Right.
for
It's
$1.
such antiquated technology at
or
this point.
any website. I'm sure not any, but I'm sure there's websites that just take care of this very
Right.
easily too.
But like when I was in school, it was a requirement to
Yeah, you
know how to do it via this
Yeah,
calculator.
for certain
like
math
this
classes,
was
you had to
yeah.
you had to have this thing.
Like I took an AP physics class, and we used this. Had to use this quite a bit, and a few pre-calculus. I think we used it quite a bit, and but I am really curious to know if you showed this to a high schooler now, they'd be like, "What's that old piece of junk?"
yeah,
They'd
what
be like,
is
"Yep,
that?
still using that
What's
same
that brick
thing."
with a number pad on it?
It has a huge number pad too. Where it's just
Whose idea was that thing?
it's like a thing that nobody can know how to run it either, unless you're taught pretty specifically how to run that.
yeah.
It's not
Well,
intuitive
it's all
or
complex math
Yeah,
functions.
yeah.
Like if you just looked at it, you'd be like, "Oh, this thing's not in English, so it's not for me."
Yeah, I did in college. I had to use a Texas Instruments financial calculator quite a bit,
Oh.
and it's simpler than the graphing calculator. But I've got a couple of those, and I still use those. I mean,
Does it have the printer, the roll of paper on it?
no,
It's not a
no.
number machine.
It looks kind of like that, only a little bit.
What did you
dumbed
say it's
down.
called? A financial?
Yeah, Texas Instruments financial calculator. I can't remember the number. It's got a number too. There you go. That's it.
Oh, that just looks more like their basic calculator.
Yeah. Except it's got those 5 white buttons that go or those gray buttons that go across those 5 ones. That's for
accounting things.
finance things. Yeah.
You just hit the button and it does the finances, and then the.
But I still use those right now.
You don't have it figured out how to do it in your head yet.
No, not yet. But I'm sure there's websites that do it much easier. But it's just like I'm just
Yeah, it's
used
right
to
there.
using it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
calculators.
Yeah.
Woo.
as long as we're on open powerlifting, we do have a really good open powerlifting stat of the week this week. Should we hit it? You want to get hit up with that?
Yeah. Should we do it to him?
And the way I really like to do the stat of the week is by like posing a question to you and to get your input first. I think that's the funnest.
To get the wheels going.
Yeah, I think that's the most fun way to do it. And this is going to be a good one. This comes from our friends at Open Powerlifting. It's the Open Powerlifting Stat of the Week as heard on the Massenomics podcast. Okay, we're looking at for raw men, any weight class, any federation, any age, all years, all events. In the bench press, we're talking about a 315 or more bench in competition. In the squat, we're talking about a 405 or more squat in competition. And the deadlift, a 495 deadlift or more in competition.
So we're talking 3 plates,
4 plates, 5 plates. Kind of all milestones. Would you say those are 3 comparable milestones for the 3, at least in...
If you had to just generalize, I would say yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, of those 3, a 3-plate bench, a 4-plate squat, or a 5-plate deadlift, by the numbers in the database in open powerlifting, which one is the most common? A 315 bench,
I think
405 squat, 495 deadlift.
So I want to say bench because that's the thing that the most people just. If someone just goes to the gym, they're bench. There's no one that just goes to the gym just to squat. Like if someone just goes to the gym just for something to do, they're more than likely benching. So that's why I think bench.
But what about the 315 bench versus the number?
Yes, and so then I think but everyone can deadlift a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
5 plates is
5 plates deadlift, that's not easy to do. And for me, out of all those, the 4-plate squat was the first one I got. But a lot of people really hate squatting though.
Yeah,
so that's why I think I'm gonna go with the 5-plate deadlift. No, that can't be right though because of all the lighter people. There's no way that could be right. It has to be the squat.
It is the squat.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were gonna. At first I didn't think you were gonna come to that conclusion, but it is the squat. For the 405-pound squat, only 54,829 out of 97,094 have gotten that or more in competition. So that comes to 56.47%.
Okay.
Have gotten that 4-plate squat.
Percent of competitors or percent of total lifts in the database? Do you know?
Competitors.
Okay.
Because the total lifts would be more, right? Because it's out of 97,000. So of the best of all the competitors, because it's not looking at their worst mean to be looking at their best.
Yep. So 56% of male competitors have squatted 4
plates or more. Yes. So
that's pretty good. That number surprises me.
Yeah, that is significant. So then you're down to the 5-plate pull or the 315 press.
I think it's the bench next.
It is the deadlift.
Oh, really?
53,392 out of 108,000. It comes to 49.42% have hit a 5-plate deadlift. So just barely under half.
That's
pretty impressive though too, that half the people have done a 495.
But everyone deadlifts over 600 now.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like everyone can do that.
Yeah. So the bench comes in last. Obviously 315 the smallest number, but relative to the lift, by the numbers it's the most impressive.
Yeah.
The bench 315 is more impressive than squatting 4 plates or deadlifting 5 plates.
And it's funny because we have both types of guys at the gym. There's some guys that have been benching 315 that literally their entire lives. It's just something they always do.
Yeah.
And the minute you put 5 plates in the deadlift, that's where it starts to be God, all right, time to put some work in.
Right. The numbers
and
on
I would
that,
say I'm a part of that crowd.
Yeah.
It's
right.
315. It's not easy on bench, but
you can get it all the time.
Yeah, I'm not going to miss that. Whereas deadlift, 5 plates, I'm I don't want a deadlift.
Yeah, right. The number 50,675 out of 129,697. I suppose that's number is higher. The pool is higher because of bench only, I suppose.
Makes sense.
So that's 39.07%. Pretty significantly lower.
Yeah. I like that one. That's that had me thinking there.
Yeah. And I think that 3-plate, 4-plate, 5-plate, I think they're all pretty, well, by the numbers, they are pretty comparable. But actually, the bench should probably, the numbers to compare, it's probably more like 300 even to get in that 50% ballpark,
I mean,
I'm guessing.
That's a pretty broad thing to cover all weight classes, too.
Yeah, right.
You know,
right.
Someone of 180 pounds or less hitting that it's a much different feat than someone, 220, 250,
but just
300.
Thinking about it, like, I just, like, out of our lifters at the gym, I don't think of that many people as not benching 315, but if you go by the numbers, there probably is more than you would think. But that's a really good stat.
That is.
And the open powerlifting guys are working on a stat specific to Massenomics Gym, and they collected aggregated all the data of our
trying to crack the code of what makes it tick.
Yeah, what makes everyone tick there. But thank you to the guys at Open Powerlifting.
Yeah, thanks Open Powerlifting. If anyone else wants to support them, you can hop on their website. Well, you can hop on their website, check it out, see what's going on. They do have a support us button where you can get in touch with them about entering meets, giving them money, all types of good stuff. Otherwise, they're pretty active on Instagram. Go on there, shoot them a DM, and they would be more than happy to put you to work, I'm sure.
Yep. What do we want to do next?
Well, we are at the 45-minute mark already.
Oh, we lost video, I see. I didn't charge the battery sufficiently.
Yeah, the old technical department.
I do have another battery over that we could slide in, but I suppose by the time we did that, it just wouldn't.
I don't know, Tanner. You're the camera guy, so.
Yeah, it's going to go black screen.
Okay.
You're just going to have to listen to our voice like all the people on the podcast here. How about reviews? Speaking of our podcast, I've got a few good reviews, and we're getting dangerously close to that 100.
Are we?
100 5-star review mark. I think we're going to make it here soon. Got a couple good ones. I'm going to read them here. 5 out of 5 stars. This is from N Wheeler 93. The title is Larry Wheels Podcast. Podcast is the perfect mixture of stupid jokes, pop culture, and all the lifting Larry Wheels news gossip you could need.
He isn't wrong.
No, he is not wrong at all.
You got to give the people what they want.
That's right. This is another 5 out of 5 stars from Newport Lover, and the title is End of a 27-year-long dry spell. After listening to the Massenomics podcast, I decided to buy some merchandise from their store. I'd gotten a few shirts, and I couldn't believe how my life had changed. My IQ doubled. My charm has become unstoppable. I get special treatment every time I go to Carnival Steakhouse, and most importantly, my lifts have increased tremendously. But that's not even the best part. I decided to buy the Yeah Buddy shirt for this kind, gorgeous lady, and I got laid that very next evening for the first time in my life while she was wearing it. Definitely buying the rest of the store as soon as I get my next paycheck. Already spent the last one on KY jelly, condoms, and ice cream. Wow. Thanks, guys.
Now that guy has got game over there.
Yeah, he knows what's going on.
I think I know who that is.
Okay, 5 out of 5 stars again, and this is from QBs34. Title, Good Stuff. Much like a LaCroix, you are going to feel indifferent at first with this podcast. After a little while, you'll learn to love LaCroix as well as Massenomics. This money-hungry team of powerlifting capitalists will overcharge you on lift shorts, but make up for it with something fun to listen to every week. 5 out of 5.
Awesome.
That was a good one.
Speaking of that, Tanner, I gave you a box of key lime LaCroix.
I haven't tried one yet.
Oh, man, come on.
Yeah, I still got to try those. Haven't tried them yet.
Okay, well, we'll keep your review.
A lot of people want a LaCroix shirt.
We'll keep everyone in suspense then until your official review comes in.
Yeah, we'll wait for that. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
They have been sitting there. I just moved them today, so
they're getting closer then.
Yep, I'm thinking about it. What else did we have?
Is that all the reviews then?
Yeah, that's
3.
reviews.
Well, thank you, everyone. That was excellent.
Yeah, we just need a few more to break that 100 mark, so you could be the person to do that 100th review.
Do it.
We need you. We need you.
Checking the old schedule.
Big lifts. I think there was something in there.
Do we have
Jesse Norris deadlifted 585 for 15 reps.
Does that sound like a normal deadlift workout to you?
For Jesse Norris, it's kind of normal.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me. He does stupid volume all the time.
I thought it'd be worth putting Jesse into big lifts because I don't think people he's been without competing for so long, people kind of forget about him a little bit, I think. But I'd be curious to see if he could make a run back at it one of these days.
It'd be really awesome to see.
Yeah.
If he could be healthy and make a run at it, he could be a major contender.
If you can deadlift 585 for 15, how unhealthy can you be? Like,
well, that's the thing that doesn't really make sense to me either. Like, I would assume that volume, because that can't be like, well, he's doing it for 15, so it has to be somewhat light for him. But like that has to be work, you know. Like he's not just completely breezing through it.
Right.
And like that volume, like a heavy volume day, kind of beats you up.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're going for your true 1 rep max, I would pick like a 95% single over a 15 rep day, like any day.
For sure, definitely. I'd like to see him come back, bring back Jesse Norris, bring back Super Bar.
Yeah, it's the platform we're running on.
Yeah, bringing back old stuff.
Do we? Are we doing over under this week, Tanner? Or do we have
So
comments?
definitely. What was it? There was something in the comments that. Oh yes, this was on one of our recent Lifting Legends posts about Derek Poundstone, a great American strongman, and just this is all the comment read. What was the specific comment in quotations?
So the comment on Derek Poundstone's Lifting Legend. Yeah, just because he's American. No idea what that means.
Like what? Just because he's American?
I was actually hoping you were going to tell me like some context to that, but that's all it is.
I read it a couple times, and I got the more times I read it, the more confused I was. Like, we made a thing just because he's American? That doesn't make sense because we've made just as many of those about non-Americans as
there
as
actually
American.
might be more non-Americans.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't know what it means, but that kind of seems to be the status quo for these comments.
Yes.
So.
Also, not on our list there, but we had the post about Amanda Lawrence squatting 585, and just all the men commenting stupid stuff that are like insecure about
so many
her
people
being stronger than them.
Yeah, so many guys.
Where I'm like, it is like all the fake weights comments and stuff, and like a lot of it's not. It's people that actually believe she's using fake weights.
Well, you can see like how, I mean, you said it, insecure. Like people project their insecurities. Like it's just, I mean, go to anything on Instagram. You can see it. Actually, I should say anything on the internet where there's a comment section. Like people project their insecurities on everything. Like if it's something that challenges their beliefs, challenges who they might be, challenges their identity in any way, like people cannot handle it.
There's probably upwards of 50 stupid comments.
I don't doubt it at all.
Hundreds of comments, but there's at least 50 like ridiculous ones that just, you know.
I mean, the fact of the matter is most guys will never squat 585.
No.
And their only way they can feel better about themselves is to like try and rag on a woman for doing it.
Yeah, that's
because they'll never get there.
No, it gets to be annoying. It's just like, I mean,
but that's also like most people view the world as like a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, if someone else has it, I can never get it. Like they took it from me. Like people don't get that. Like, there's for the most part, there's enough for everyone to kind of get theirs if they want to. And most people just can't wrap their mind around that.
Right. We do have, I'll throw this out there. We may have the opportunity of recording a podcast with Amanda Lawrence sometime in the relatively near future if we could get it organized. Let us know if that's something you'd like to hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. I think
it'd be pretty cool.
I have a lot of questions for her, like how, like I want to know about her programming and how she got so strong. And like
does
when
Larry make your program for you every week?
And like, are you actually Larry? And will you consider changing your name to the female Larry Wheels on Instagram?
That would be really funny. If you did that, though.
Especially with our...
You could hardly argue with it.
Yeah.
Like, well...
I'd be like, it's great marketing.
I guess. I'd like it.
So maybe that's something we haven't recorded an interview episode in quite a while, so maybe we'll do that again sometime.
Hit the old trail and see what we can come up with.
We don't like to do them over the phone. If we wanted to do that, we could probably do that every single week, but it's just not our bag. No. There's other podcasts for that.
We're into building relationships and shaking
personalized
hands and
one-on-one stuff. Okay, should we get to the podcast world's fastest growing segment?
The moment everyone's been waiting
for. I'm convinced our numbers have been going up lately on listening listeners, downloaders for the podcast, and do you think it might be because of
this one highly opinionated segment?
Do you think that's
Absolutely.
what it is? I think everyone tunes in for this hour-ish episode.
I know this is why.
To get to underrated, overrated.
There's no way it could not be this.
No. So we're going to bring you another underrated, overrated. For those of you that haven't heard underrated, overrated before, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's lightning round questions, some pop culture mixed in with some lifting-related topics.
Public service announcement. If you're driving a car, you might want to pull over right now. Because it's about to get real.
I really enjoy every week reading the description of what underrated, overrated is. Like that one sentence of the lightning round questions. Yeah. Some pop culture mixed with some lifting-related topics.
Because it's a highly technical game that you have to explain out.
To go into that deeper, Tommy does have the option of making his answers as short or as extended as he would like to.
There's always that one little point. There's no time limit on this.
Okay. So number one, underrated, overrated, The Sopranos, which just is this month 20 years old.
Okay, I actually really want to watch this. I just struggle, like, starting a show where I know there's like 8 seasons and 80 hours of footage that I have to do. Like 80 hours is so much time. I think it's underrated probably. A lot of people say it's one of the best TV shows ever made. I've never watched it. I don't think most people from our generation probably saw it because it's old enough.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I remember people talking about it.
I remember hearing about it and everything.
I watched a couple episodes of it, but
I haven't seen a single one in my life other than Tony Soprano. That's all I know about the show.
It was the first big HBO series. It was the one that started it all. And a lot of people say The Sopranos created what TV is today.
I would
a lot of people say Breaking Bad would have never existed if it wasn't for The Sopranos. Like all of those, basically what we all watch all the time now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what we expect when we say a good TV show.
Right. That came from this because of The Sopranos.
Yeah, I would absolutely say underrated.
Yeah.
And I haven't even seen it. So.
Yeah. All right. Underrated or overrated? Anti-skip feature on portable CD players.
That was super underrated because I never had one of those growing up, and it sucked.
Yeah. You never had a portable CD?
No, I
Discman
had I had a black Sony Walkman.
Okay,
it was sweet because it was black and the lettering on it was red. It looked so cool.
Yeah.
And but we only had one, so when we'd go on road trips, me and Ryan would have to share it. Yeah. We also had a Game Boy though, so usually whoever had the Walkman, the other guy got the Game Boy.
Just think how happy you were just sitting there with your CD, with your headphones on.
I just had a CD player and I could just stare out the window. What more could you need in life?
You could listen to the full, all 14 Smash Mouth tracks.
Dude, actually, we were saying this the other day. Okay, we were talking about System of a Down, Toxicity. Okay, what year did that come out? A pretty well-known gym staple, I would say. Came out in 2001, September 4th, 2001. So that's getting pretty close to 20 years old. What's that, 18 years old?
Yeah.
We were talking about, like, remember being kids and we were going on a road trip and we were with one of our friends and they brought Toxicity. I think they had an older sibling that they took it from because 18 years ago, I mean, I would have been, 11? Mm-hmm. It was like normally probably not like a 10-year-old 11-year-old getting Toxicity, but I remember hearing that in the car and being like, this sounds pretty evil, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know if my ears should be listening to this.
Yeah.
But Walkmans though.
With the
anti-skip, I never had one. I did have friends that had one, and I remember them showing me you could shake it, and it was like, this is magic. How the hell does this work? This is crazy. So those things are underrated for sure.
Yep. Underrated or overrated? Fitbits.
For me, very overrated. But I don't really do any fitness that's dependent on steps. Mm-hmm. If I really need a pedometer, my phone has a pedometer in it. If that is the thing, I will say this: if that is the thing that gets you moving and gets you working out, then I am all for it.
Yeah.
But just for me, I don't have a reason for one.
My son got a kid's Fitbit for Christmas.
And is he racking up the steps?
He is. The other day he was low on steps, so I sent him outside to run up and down the street a few times. He said he's only at 5,000 and he wants to get to 10, so he didn't come back until he was at 8, and then he
really he
yeah.
put 3,000 on.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Whew.
I think he's 7, and this was the first time. I went out there and just watched him because didn't just want to send him all the way into traffic.
Yeah, go get lost.
Yeah. And he ran. It was like 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and then I sent him again on another path, which was like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then I sent him again on the 2 minute 40-second thing, and he did them all in succession with like no break. And I was doing the math, and I was like, oh, he just ran for like 8 minutes, and he ran the whole time. And I was like, well, I can't do that probably anymore.
Sure. Yeah, you're on a half a mile
so I'm
easy.
Like, I'm like, I guess I'd have the advantage of having longer strides, but I wouldn't want to go running with him anymore.
So
now.
you pulled up a video on YouTube of Prefontaine, and you said,
This
study
could be
this.
Yeah. That was Fitbits. Let me see. My screen went away from me here. Okay, underrated or overrated? Intro workout supplements for powerlifters.
For powerlifters. Do you consider water a supplement?
No.
Oh, then I think for the most part they're probably overrated.
I think so.
And
And I'm saying for powerlifters. There's people out there that do other things.
like,
That's
I don't
probably,
even really consider. Yeah, If you're doing like a marathon or something,
Yeah.
I think there's probably some intro workout stuff that's
Yeah.
very necessary. I'm not even really considering Gatorade an intro workout thing. Like that's just kind of like
Yeah.
a thing people drink. But I don't know. Are you doing anything powerlifting that's like calorically taxing or energy taxing? Like.
You're usually not doing anything more than 5 reps of anything at any given time.
Usually not actually working for more than like actually working for more than 30 seconds at a time. And I wouldn't say that that's a complete like anaerobic state the entire time. I mean, it's not like you're doing. It's not like you're running a 400-meter dash where you are going all out for however long it takes you.
Yes.
I mean, here you're just like, your rep takes a second. But besides that, you're just under the stress of standing there.
And most people aren't checking the bigger boxes. Where those tiny-ass boxes, it would ever matter.
Yeah,
like
sleep and just your
sleep,
food
nutrition,
intake leading up to it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many
your
other
programming, things. People stepping over dollars to pick up dimes, I would say.
I'd say those are overrated.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, last one, underrated or overrated? Walmart grocery pickup. Do you know about Walmart grocery pickup?
I do not know. I mean,
it's a new thing that Walmart has rolled out.
Really?
Where
I'm assuming it's where they give you groceries out at the curb, or
you go on, like you don't go into the store. You go online and select whatever groceries you want, pay for them, and you select your time you're going to pick them up, and you go and they have them ready for you and load them into your vehicle and you drive away.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they charge you for that?
No.
They shouldn't. I mean.
Yeah.
Do they have any guarantees to accuracy with this whole thing?
What happens is if they're out of something, they give you a replacement, and the replacement is basically always better. Like if you order
the generic cheese, and they only have the one that's
they just
$10.
give you the and then they tell you, and you have the option of like either accepting it or not taking whatever you wanted, or like. If you ordered a small bag of M&Ms and they were out of that, they would give you like the 1 pound bag of M&Ms.
And they only had 10-pound bags left.
That's what they would give you. Like that's what they do.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
I guess you just have to decide if you want to support the Walmart overlords in this whole equation.
That's and a lot of smaller grocery chains either already did this or are adopting something like this now because it's like people are
just
using it. Yeah.
Well, God, you're probably like me when you go to the grocery store. You're assuming you even go anymore at your work.
I was just going to say shout out to my wife. I essentially do not go to the grocery
store
anymore.
Think back to times long ago when you used to go.
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time like thinking about what to get, or did you just get the same thing every week?
Yeah.
I can
90% the same.
I can do essentially a speed run. The only time I have to change it up is, this meat's really cheap. Okay, well, how much room do I have at home? Like, how much of this do I want to buy? And then if I'm going to buy a lot of it, then am I going to adjust the ingredients that I wanted for other stuff? But that was like it. And the thing that drives you nuts is the people that every time, I'm fairly certain that some people just go into a grocery store every time, and it's part of like their fun thing to do, just look at. It's like part window shopping for them,
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, I cannot stand that when I'm trying to buy stuff, and people are just like, and it's like, can't do it.
I agree. So what do you think of the concept then? You haven't utilized it.
I mean, the concept's underrated. Like, that's an awesome concept.
Yeah.
It feels so lazy too, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. In practice, like, I don't actually do that because I don't even do that part of it. But my wife has been using it quite a bit, and it's nice for her because then, like, the kids and everything, she doesn't even have to get them out of the car. Mm-hmm. It's like you just
I can see how it could be super handy for a lot of people. Yeah.
You do have to schedule it, though.
Yeah.
Like, you have to – there's almost like a list, so you can't just be like, it's 5 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, and you're like, I want to be there at 7 to pick it up. You have to schedule it like a day or two.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. But the thing that people, I think, worry about is, like, the produce and stuff, like what they're going to get you. Mm-hmm. And we've had good luck.
You've actually done this before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my wife uses it
probably
half the – sometimes she wants to go in.
Yep.
But for certain things, it's just easier.
Yeah. I can see, to me, the biggest benefit is the family equation in here. Like when you have kids and things like that. Like
yeah. I think we got some Cuties oranges, like the small bag of oranges, and they sucked like they're half rotten and stuff.
Yeah.
And she filed. I think it's pretty. They have it set up super simple. If something's wrong, you just tell them, and they credited us back and gave us, I think, like $25.
Wow.
So that they're really, conscious of the maybe the potential produce issue or the out of stock issue, and they really go, I would say, from what I've seen, above and beyond to try and
that's cool.
Change people's mind on that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. That's underrated and overrated for another week.
Did you know, though, Tanner, that this week there's a special guest on Underrated Overrated, and that guest is you. Oh, the segment just got extended.
The world's greatest segment. Oh, I'm honored to make it onto Underrated and Overrated.
Okay, you ready here? Okay. Do I need to explain this?
What do you do?
You can. Okay, it's just your opinion. You can go as long or as short as you want in these answers. You're not allowed to pass, but you can basically say whatever you want for an answer.
So you can go as long as you want or as short as you. Okay.
Yeah. Just keep in mind we're at the hour and 5 minute mark right now, so
I really can't go.
We're probably losing people by the second, so just keep that in mind.
This exciting.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Underrated, overrated. Snapchat.
Oh, anymore, I guess to me it's overrated. I used to be more into it, and I guess to me, purely personally, it's died to me a little bit.
Okay.
I just don't use it as much.
I'm gonna completely agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's dying.
Yeah.
I'd be curious a year from now what it becomes.
I think a lot of people are curious right now.
A lot of people that I knew that used to use it don't use it like they used to use it. I personally am. Every once in a while, I still use it just because I have certain people on there still
and
that I want.
They're on it.
Yeah.
You'll get a response, but
yeah.
Okay. NFL playoffs.
Oh, like this year's playoffs specifically?
This year's. We'll say 2019 NFL playoffs.
I would say that my NFL watching has just got dwindled down to next to nothing. I did catch some of the Saints Eagles game.
Yep.
And I do listen to, while I'm working, sometimes I listen to some sports radio, I guess. So that's how I even know what's going on, is I listen to some sports talk show radio every once in a while. I have a hard time answering that one. I guess I would say it's underrated because the NFL playoffs is pretty sweet. Even if I'm not actively super following it close, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers haven't been in the playoffs for 10 years, I still think the NFL playoffs is underrated. I want to see if the Patriots are gonna win the AFC Championship again, which is just ridiculous if they do.
Yep.
Doesn't even make sense to me considering the parity that's in the NFL, and they've been to the AFC Championship game for 10 years in a row, or 8 or something like that.
8 now, I think. Yeah.
Okay, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And
it's how is that possible?
That Kansas City this is how much I followed the NFL this year, but that Kansas City quarterback seems to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, fun to watch.
What's his name?
Mahomes.
Mahomes. And then on the NFC side, the Saints, I'd really like to see Drew Brees win a Super Bowl. I would say I don't have any connection to Drew Brees other than it seems like
you just really enjoy the commercials he's in. Such a good actor.
And they're playing the Rams.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the Rams, so I guess I'd like to see the Saints win, and I'd like to see him play. Even though the Patriots thing is overdone, I guess I'd like to see him play Drew Brees and Tom Brady.
All right.
Underrated.
Okay. Final one.
Yeah.
Hard hitting. Michelob Golden.
Oh, you mean my?
It's kind of like a rich hoppy beer.
Yeah, my. You mean my IPA?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Vastly underrated. I don't know geographically where Michelob Golden fits in as far as a beer that people know or not.
I think tends to be
hugely
upper Midwest.
overrated. Talking about the Massenomics gym party, that's what I was sipping on there. Was I call it my favorite IPA, which it is my favorite out of all the IPAs I've ever had. It's probably the best, and it's the nodes and the hops and
there's a lot going on. Very balanced.
It does
very
have extreme
light.
balance, but yet bitter.
Bitter as you want it to be.
I love Michelob Golden Light. Way underrated. I think, seriously, it's underrated as a beer. It's a really good beer. I like the clear bottle with the ridges on it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite feature of the Michelob Golden Light. I think even though clear bottles are worse for the beer, a
beer is good when your favorite part about it is the bottle, right?
I like that they're not trying to slip something past you in this dark brown bottle. What's floating around in there?
Hiding anything
I don't
from
know.
you.
It's clear that they can't slide anything past you.
There's not going to accidentally be a finger in there.
No.
You're not going to
and I really
not
like
see it.
the ridges with the label. Like you can kind of dink with it while you're drinking it.
And it kind of gives you a little grip too.
Yeah.
Their technology.
If you've never had a Michelob Golden Light, I would recommend you buy a 6. It's got to be in. I like everything in bottles when it comes to beer.
Yep. A little fancier.
Yeah, it's fancier. It tastes better to me. But get yourself a 6er of. If you haven't heard of this IPA, get yourself a 6er of it and just have a time of it. Just cherish them though. They're not for.
And you will have a time of it too.
I wouldn't say they're not a beer bong beer. It's like a.
Although it could very easily be. Beer bong beer, shotgun beer.
Maybe the most underrated thing I've ever heard.
It's a very versatile beer.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to.
So underrated.
All right. Well,
that'll do.
That wraps up our first ever guest segment on Over Under. Kind of fun being on the hot seat.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I'm honored. I'd like to thank the Massenomics podcast for having me on. Quickly, like us on YouTube, Facebook. Go to our store. Some improved photo shots of all the items.
Yeah,
on
we
our
finally
store.
the marketing department finally got around to doing some things.
There's some really good photos, really cool lifestyle pictures of the bench shirt, Yeah Buddy shirt, all of our sweatshirts and everything. But the newest, hottest thing that just came off the press, got to us today, is our new. Well, wait, there's no point of holding this up. We don't have any video here, but our new sticker pack, a brand new sticker pack, and there's 3 stickers in here. It's going to be a Buddy Light sticker. Very cool, rectangular in shape. The Bench Heavy sticker, which would mirror our Bench Heavy banner and shirt. Very cool. And then this might be the coolest out of them. It's a 7-inch long by 2-inch tall Massenomics sticker. What's that font, Tommy? Do you know?
It's custom.
Okay, it's a custom font, and it's black and white. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very sleek, sexy design.
Kind of a sleek, almost military stencil look to it.
Yeah, it's a stencil look. It is cool. So get yourself that. That sticker pack is only $5. I think shipping is the cost of a stamp if you just buy that sticker
3
pack.
of each sticker. 9
3
stickers.
of each sticker, 9 sticker for $5.
Tag everything up.
It's a steal.
Yeah.
It's honest to God
and
a
people
steal.
like them.
Oh, yeah.
People love them.
We were tagging the gym with them just today. Get some out there.
Gym's looking good.
Yeah. So get yourself a sticker pack. All the other stuff, buy it.
Yeah, you guys know. If you listen this far, you know at this point.
Yeah,
Hop on there.
You guys know. What do you got on the Instagram?
On the Instagrams, at Tomahawk_D.
And make sure to check out the official Massenomics Instagram, at Massenomics, and stay tuned for episode 147. Ooh. It's going to be a good one. Don't want to spoil too much, but just stick around.
Later.
See ya.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.